Dry, warm weather, especially for Adelaide. You can see here we are talking about 38 degrees in their forecast. That means 38 degrees, about 8 degrees above average, very warm conditions, very dry conditions. The fire danger is going to be a problem there, and over towards the coast, we're looking at Sydney at about mid-20s to about 28 degrees there. As we take a look at what's happening across parts of India, very dry conditions, except for the southwest. We're still looking at some rain pushing down towards the southwest. Colombo's going to be looking dry in their forecast, but clouds will be going all the way from Hyderabad all the way up to Kolkata. We are looking at some also very warm conditions for Karachi. Their temperatures are going from 29 to about 30 on Saturday.
East Timor's government has declared it's time for foreign forces to leave the country. But with a frail infrastructure, is this nation prepared to face a future without international support? 101 East, at this time on Al Jazeera.
It is in the details, a look, a connection, the moments that reveal the truth. Witness documentaries to open your eyes. At this time on Al Jazeera.
Welcome back. The top stories on Al Jazeera. The UN Security Council will meet on Friday to discuss possible sanctions against Libya. Also on the table, a request to the International Criminal Court to indict Libyan leaders for crimes against humanity. NATO Secretary-General Anders Fogh Rasmussen has also convened an emergency meeting. He says priority must be given to evacuation and possibly humanitarian assistance. And there's been heavy fighting in AlJazeera, just west of the capital, Tripoli, between opposition forces and Gaddafi loyalists. Anti-government protests are taking place in Iraq. Demonstrators are making their way to Baghdad's Tahrir or Liberation Square. Other rallies are reported to be taking place in Basra and Fallujah. Jane Araf is trying to join protesters in Baghdad and joins us now on the line. Jane, where are you? What are you seeing?
I'm on a bridge walking with some of these protesters, and it's really an extraordinary sight. Last night, the Prime Minister, Nouri al-Maliki, and his government announced essentially a snap curfew, saying no one would be allowed to drive anywhere in Baghdad today. Despite that, people have been walking, some of them for more than an hour. Little trickles of people that are turning into streams. On this bridge that I'm looking at right now, there are entire families, mothers with their children, a lot of young men, all of them walking towards Liberation Square, Tahrir Square, to protest what they say is an ineffective, corrupt government.
And of course, it would seem as if they reject his claim that the protests would serve the Baathists and Al-Qaeda.
In some senses, it's only served to actually encourage people to come out to protest. Now, this had been planned as what some organizers had called a day of rage, and it had originally included a cross-section of political parties. But the Sutter movement has pulled out. That really reduced numbers. But what we are seeing really is what appears to be a very populist protest. People with all sorts of reasons. A conversation I'm having with them as we're walking, there are hundreds of different stories. People who can't find work, people who don't have homes, people who are fed up with the corruption. One man who told me that the government was burning up the Constitution. A variety of different grievances all congregating in one place despite this curfew imposed on the city.
Jane, we'll keep in touch as the day unfolds. Thanks a lot for that update for the moment. Well, throughout the unrest and chaos in Libya, the internet and its many social media websites have been an important source of information. Tariq Bazley is at our web desk.
Well, thanks, Imran. Still a great deal of confusion on the ground in Libya. In this update, we have reports of the widespread rape of women, also allegations anti-government internet websites are being infiltrated by pro-government elements. But first, a video posted to the website libyafeb17.com. That's the website on screen now. It brings together video and pictures as well as comment on events in Libya. Its top video claims to show footage of wounded in the hospital in the eastern town of Derna. That's between Tobruk and Benghazi. It's not clear when the video was shot nor when those who were filmed were hurt. Well, Derna is one of a number of towns believed to be under opposition control and has witnessed ongoing protests in recent days. Well, as the unrest continues, the Libyan government appears to be using increasingly desperate ways to communicate with its people. We have reports it's been sending SMS text messages to mobile phones, telling people to return to life as normal. A resident in Libya explained what's happening to the website Feb 17 Voices.
Yesterday they started sending us messages in the night telling us to go be normal, to go to work, and to start our lives in an orderly fashion. But what happened in the morning is that absolutely, I think nobody even went close to the schools. And I would say maybe 98% of the shops are closed in Tripoli.
Well, SMS text messages are one thing, the infiltration of anti-government websites another. AlJazeera has learned that some opposition sites are now being targeted. Analyst Tariq Youssef explains.
There's a Libyan website called libyawatanuna.com, which lists a host of Libyan opposition web pages. If you click on many of these web pages, you'll find that they're either down, not responding, or they've moved to Facebook. And we have now reports that even some of the Twitter accounts that are being managed by the youth inside of Libya and outside are beginning to look like they might be compromised or they might be unreliable.
Well, amid the chaos, there appears to be an increasing number of reports of rape. Some put the cases in the hundreds. Here are a few tweets on the subject. Ali Tweel says, confirmed from a doctor in Zawiya Road Hospital in Tripoli. People disappear from it, and there was a case of rape on Tuesday. Reem Ali tweets, talking to a Libyan friend of mine, a mercenary tried to drag a woman into a building to rape her, but loads of other women jumped him. But from Walid Sarai, a counterclaim. He accuses the Twitter site of trying to spread rumours about rape cases because of chaos and disorder. None happened, nor reported. It's a rumour. We'll be looking into those claims of rape in the days ahead. There's plenty more content coming online. We'll be back with more from the web desk in a little time later.
Thanks, Tariq. Well, the polls have opened now in Ireland for the first general election since a major financial bailout by the EU and IMF. Rory Challens is live for us in Dublin. Difficult times ahead for the ruling party, Rory.
Yes, it is. Punishment is really in the air here. The polls opened about 2.5 hours ago. And if you believe what all the pundits are saying, then Fianna Fáil, the party that's governed Irish politics, dominated Irish politics for decades, is heading for its worst ever election results. And that's because it was at the helm when the banks went bust and when Ireland was forced to accept a humiliating $115 billion bailout from the banks. Now, I'm joined by Ewan O'Malley,